Hey everyone, this is Tyler from GFI Forensics on behalf of the Defeat the Breach Coalition. Guess what, guys? It's finally here. It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month.
A lot of these are coming from overseas. So this is not some kid sitting in a basement just trying to get your information. Most of the time, it's an organized crime ring trying to generate income. And it's very dangerous because they are very unscrupulous. They don't care about you. And they will use the data and your information any way they can to make money. It really is vigilance. It's having good passwords that make it much more difficult to hack into your accounts. We give training to our staff and working with Providence, our IT firm. They give us training on those phishing attacks, those emails that just look a little strange. The name, the email that it's coming from doesn't seem right. Your instincts are usually correct. Don't click on it.
When in doubt, throw it out is the mantra that people need to have. So with regard to, specific things, whatever the topic is of the day, it's a never-ending cat and mouse sort of game. So some key things that people need to be aware of is the user behind the computer is the weakest link. So the awareness that user has to have in their head, a culture of cybersecurity awareness within any organization or a household, that thing is number one.
But yeah, that's kind of how cyber attacks work. They take a little bit of data, pennies of data, so to speak, an email, this person's inbox, this person's file storage, and then all of a sudden at the end of the day, they have a lot of data that they can sell wherever they sell it. So what were your initial thoughts with it?
Yeah, my initial thought was I'm deleting everything.
I hire Britt for 2 of my businesses to do this exact thing, to get people's attention online, on social media.
As a professor, I know not to click on anything. I know to have not to do password reuse. I know to have 2-factor authentication on every single account where possible. I've actually contacted my carrier, my phone carrier, and said, I will not call you and say, I want a new phone.
You can do everything right, and you're still such a target with such an impact.
They had scraped my Facebook account, which I have it locked down. The only thing that you could have seen is my profile pictures. And they had a number of my profiles pictures. So they had been watching me for quite some time. They had all my LinkedIn information. So they had scraped the jobs that I had attended. They basically went through my resume. They went through all my contacts on LinkedIn.
Cybercrime today is nowhere what it used to be 5 years ago.
No, and it's growing. And in COVID, we're seeing a quadruple amount of reports being sent into FBI and FTC. So the amount of cybercrime happening right now, when everyone is so desperate and hurting and isolated, is just exploding. So the loss every year, if we do the math, is around $340 billion with a B dollars every year to the American economy. Don't think about just one person lost some money. They now can't spend money at the grocery store, at the convenience store, wherever it may be. They can't have money to pay their bills, and the electric company suffers. And so everybody is impacted if $340 billion is taken out of the U.S. economy every year. Wow. We probably can't stop them from being a victim the first time, because until someone is a first victim, they don't really necessarily understand the importance of 2-factor authentication or different things. But once they've been a victim, we're finding that 90% of the people that come to us after they've been a victim and then they learn more and they talk to somebody, they say, I don't think I'm going to be a victim again. And that's where we can make the difference, is stopping re-victimization.
What would you say for someone who has not been a victim yet? Is the number one thing today, turn around, leave watching this interview and do? What would be that one thing?
Thank you for asking. Microsoft had an article that said 99.9% of malicious activity through your email can be stopped with two-factor authentication. I would say if everybody used two-factor authentication, or if the companies made it opt out instead of opt in like banks do, right now, if you go to your bank, anybody does online banking, you have to put in a code that's either sent to your phone or an authenticator, because that's the most secure way to do it. And we need to tell companies, we want that on our email, we want that on our Facebook, we want it on everything. So add two-factor authentication to your accounts. And if you don't know how, go to twofactorauth.org, and there's step-by-step instructions. So my goal over time is to get companies to require 2FA. I'm a little bit tired of them saying that customers don't want the friction of 2FA. They're afraid people will go to another. I think customers don't want the friction of being a victim anymore.
I was just going to say, I'm the opposite, saying please have two-factor authentication. It's kind of having that old school security trust mark on websites before you purchase something. You wanted to make sure it was secure before you put your credit card in. Now it's like consumers, people require that they have two-factor authentication, demand that they protect your identity, your data, your information. That should be coming from us and vocalizing it, saying, I'm not doing business with you unless you take it serious.
That's right. And so I really want to get to the message to the companies that the public really wants them to keep them safe. And if you know that 2FA is going to make someone 99% more secure, then let's add it in right away.